Hey, welcome everybody. Let's talk about Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Spoiler free, no spoilers in this. This will be just a quick spoiler free review, my initial thoughts of The Rise of Skywalker. A little bit of context for me. I'm an original trilogy fan, grew up with the original trilogy. My favorite movie, the prequels, is Revenge of the Sith, and over the years I have certainly come to appreciate and love the prequels as well. I love the lore, especially with the addition of the Clone Wars. So I love the saga as a whole. In the sequel trilogy, I love The Force Awakens, one of my favorites. I'm not a big fan of The Last Jedi. I don't hate The Last Jedi. There are things about it that I really enjoy, but there's a lot about it that I really don't like. That's my coming into this movie. That's me coming into The Rise of Skywalker. So my thoughts, my initial thoughts and review of The Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to give you my overall feel of what I thought of it first, and then just do a quick little breakdown of some of the good things and some of the bad things. Again, spoiler free. My overall feeling of the movie is I really enjoyed it. It's a fun Star Wars movie. It's actually very fast paced, and you can sit through this and really just it's a spectacle. There's a lot going on, and the cinematography and the way that the film is shot and filmed, it's a spectacle. It really is. It's just fun to sit through, and there's so many moments as a Star Wars fan where you go, yeah, it's just awesome. That's really fun. And I went with my kids, and that's what this is all about. My kids love this movie. They walked out saying this is the greatest Star Wars movie of all time, and they'll learn as they get older that, after the initial reaction kind of levels out, then you can kind of figure out where it belongs in sequence with, or in order with the other Star Wars movies. But look, this generation, this sequel trilogy is for my kids' generation, and I love that, and I get to share that with them. And while I may not myself prefer the sequel trilogy over the original trilogy, or even myself wish that maybe we had some different direction in the sequel trilogy, I still love it. It's Star Wars, and it's just fun. So I come into The Rise of Skywalker with a positive outlook. I want it to be fun and enjoyable, and it was. You can go see this movie and have a good time and enjoy it. That's my initial just kind of feeling about it. I walked out of the theater going, yeah, I really had a good time and I enjoyed it. All right, now in this review, I'm gonna look at it in two ways. I'm first gonna give what I didn't like about it, some of the bad, the good and the bad, and we'll start with the bad. And again, spoiler free. Okay. The thing that most people, and you'll see this in other reviews, and I agree with, is there's a lot in this movie. I mean, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes of just one thing after another where you go, wait, what's that? What's this? And you're just so much unpacking to do. And who knows, maybe over time, that's going to be a really good thing, because we'll get, if you're into the books and comics and all other stuff, there'll be a lot of stories that and even Disney Plus, there's a lot of stories that could be told just off this movie alone. But to cram it all into one movie, it did feel rushed, trying to throw so much in here, and they're trying to course correct here, and they're trying to add here, and so you just kind of, it's very fast paced in that regard. And a lot of people are going to love that. I would say even, and I love Marvel movies, so please don't hear me wrong, but more of the Marvel crowd that movies like Infinity War would come to mind, that this real fast pace, here, and we're just moving along. I think for casual fans, they're probably really going to enjoy that. But as a Star Wars fan who just loves lore, there's just so much coming at you so fast. You're like, wait, what's going on? This movie had a lot of work to do. And I don't blame J.J. Abrams or really even the movie itself for the amount of stuff that's in this movie, because in my opinion, this movie had to do the work of really 2 movies, or at least a movie and a half, because The Last Jedi, in my opinion, didn't advance the story in a satisfying way, or at least in a way that brings us to where there's character development and moving forward. And so The Rise of Skywalker is left in a position where it kind of has to pick up the pieces of The Last Jedi and finish the trilogy and be its own movie and finish the saga. That's a lot of work. And I think that for the most part, it did a pretty good job of doing that. It's not perfect. But this, unfortunately, the sequel trilogy is disconnected. You have The Force Awakens, which I love, to set up the table really well. The Last Jedi kind of flipped the tables. And now you have The Rise of Skywalker coming back in and picking up the pieces and kind of keeping some where The Last Jedi left off, and then maybe setting some back where they were originally, and trying to move the story forward. And for the most part, I think it did a pretty good job. But one of the bad is just you enter into this movie knowing that this movie has a lot of heavy lifting to do. All right, now, spoiler free again. Another aspect that I didn't like is they really do take some liberty with the Force. And I'm just going to just be honest with you, and this again, I'm not going to give anything away, but there are things that happen that are going to make you look at the whole saga maybe a little bit differently than you looked at it before. Whether you like it or don't like it, that's up to you. But they certainly do push the envelope with some things. But there's also a lot of things that are in it that people would call fan service. I don't have a problem with it. To me, it's in the Star Wars galaxy. I expect to see Star Wars things. There were some callbacks and some Easter eggs and stuff like that fans love. I love them. Those things don't ruin a movie for me, and sometimes makes it even can be a little more enjoyable as long as it's not heavy-handed or over the top. My personal opinion is I didn't think that it was. Some people may view that differently, but in regards to the liberty with the Force and how it works, and things that occur that are going to make you look at the saga and go, okay, wait a minute, what about this? If this happened in The Rise of Skywalker, well, then how does this affect this in this movie and this in this movie? And who knows? Maybe after this settles down and we start to figure out, break this stuff down, maybe, it'll be a good thing. I don't know. But right now, for me, it's a lot to process. In a spoiler review, I can get more specific about exactly what it is that I didn't like. There really is one thing. There's one thing that, I'm not going to even really get specific with this, but there's just one thing that just bugs me. It just bugs me. And it's going to keep me from saying this is a perfect Star Wars movie because of one thing. And it's a big thing. Okay, now moving on to the last part of my spoiler-free review, the good. And I really think there's a lot of good. I really do. One of the big things that stands out to me on the good side is character development. They really do spend time to flesh out the stuff that we've been wanting ever since The Force Awakens. For the most part, there is a satisfaction. You may not like the answer, but there's a satisfaction that we get answers. And I think that's a good thing. I enjoyed learning... how do I do this? Trying to keep it spoiler free. I just enjoyed what we learned, and I think that's a very good part of this. And I think the character development, and I will tell you, I'm going to be dead honest with you. I think the acting, acting as a whole was great, but Adam Driver as Kylo and Daisy Ridley as Rey, I thought they did a phenomenal job. They really did a very good job at playing their roles in this film. Very believable. You get connected with them real fast. Especially Adam Driver as Kylo. He was great. He really was. That's a highlight for me. Another highlight for me are the two of them together. They really do spend time trying to figure out what's going on, and of course there's a confrontation, all this other stuff, just like there has been in the other movies. But their dynamic together is a highlight of this film, and it's very good. Another good thing for me is, again, spoiler free, but it's no secret that Ian McDiarmid is in the film as Palpatine. I'm not going to say how he's there or what it really means, but obviously Ian McDiarmid's in the movie, and Palpatine was a highlight for me. I think some people may think it's maybe not, but for me, because I'm such a Palpatine fan, I just love seeing him in this movie. At any role, whatever it is, I just thought it was a great highlight for me. So it really is difficult, though, to do a spoiler-free review. I am looking forward to seeing this movie again. I'm going again tomorrow night, and I can't wait to see it again, because now I can look at it with, I know what's happening, and I can really start to focus on some of the subtleties that I probably missed in the first viewing. I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot to unpack, and I can't wait to do a spoiler review, and I can't wait to see what everybody else is saying in their spoiler review. And even though fandom, I think, is going to be going to have differing opinions on this movie, it's not. I don't think it's going to be to the extreme of The Last Jedi. I really don't. Maybe that, who knows? That could serve. Toxicity in fandom is a bad thing, and it can people tend to live in negativity, and they want to make things as bad as they can possibly make them. I'm not going to be like that, and I don't hope that this movie doesn't do that. I'll just say I already checked. This isn't the end all. I understand that, but Rotten Tomatoes is a complete flip of The Last Jedi. The critic reviews and Rotten Tomatoes for The Last Jedi were very high, and the fan reviews are very low. And for this movie, the critical reviews are very low, and the fan reviews, last time I checked on Rotten Tomatoes just a little bit ago, was at 88% already. So fans seem to be receiving this movie well. Is it a perfect movie? No. No. There are things that, in my opinion, needed to happen that didn't happen. In that light, it just leaves it in a position where, no, it's not a perfect movie. But is it satisfying? I say yes. It is enjoyable? I say yes. Is it worthy of multiple viewings? I think it's necessary. There's so much they throw at you that you got to have multiple viewings. So there it is. That is my initial review and thoughts on Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. It's an enjoyable movie. Go see it. If you're a Star Wars fan, definitely go check it out. It's a fun movie, but you do have to go in knowing that there are going to be things that make you cheer, and there's going to be things that make you go, huh? A lot of unpacking to do. A lot of just typical with all Star Wars. You know, this is the way we are as Star Wars fans. We kind of nerd out and geek out. Okay, what does this mean and this and that? And we tend to overanalyze. That's just kind of the fun part of being a Star Wars fan with new Star Wars movies. It's a fun movie. I thought that for the most part it ended in a very satisfying way for a fan. And I can't wait to see how things shake out now and how settling down where this movie fits into the saga as a whole. I will do a spoiler review here in a few days after I've seen it again and checking out how other people are feeling about it. And but hey, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of my review. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. Leave some comments. But thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.